Hello everyone. I didn't give any advance publicity about this live broadcast today because I wasn't quite sure whether or not I was actually going to do it. I had a little bit of an altercation with one of my dogs. You can see here on my lip and my face the last couple of days has been twice the size that it is. So it really, hi Michelle, thank you for joining me. It really was touch and go about whether or not I was going to go on. And I do have to say in my dog's defense that it was entirely my fault. He's a grumpy old man and I was giving him lots of hugs and cuddles, which he doesn't enjoy. And so he snapped at me and unfortunately caught me on the mouth. But today I thought I would just quickly talk about some lessons that I learned from a garden path. So one of my friends during lockdown, in fact, I know many people during lockdown have been doing rounds and rounds of their gardens to just to keep fit and maintain their fitness levels. And one of my friends down in Durban posted a photograph on Facebook a few weeks ago from she and her boyfriend, from their consistent running, and they're both long distance runners, but they've been doing sort of 5 and 10K runs in their own suburban garden. They've worn this deep path that is probably never going to go away into their beautiful grassy beds. And I said to her, maybe what she needs to do is actually plant it up, or put something, some pebbles along this path. But it seems that we're ashamed to let all that effort go to waste. But there are a lot of lessons that we can actually learn from this garden path, as simple as it sounds. Hi B, thanks for joining me online. So before I go any further, those of you who are watching who don't know me, my name is Megan Hudson. I'm a dog-loving, despite the violence of our relationship, I'm a dog-loving business and marketing coach, and I help coaches like you. Hello Claire, awesome to see you, welcome. Business and marketing coach. I help coaches like you find and define your niche and also to market your practices organically. And if you stay on until the end, I'm just going to give me a few minutes to share this properly to my page, and I'll be giving you a link to an infographic on how you can repurpose one piece of content for an entire month, because the topic that I am actually going to be talking about is not so much a garden path, but I'm going to be talking about putting content out there, and specifically to try and encourage those of you who might be feeling a little bit discouraged by the length of the lockdown and the fact that we can't go out and indulge in our normal marketing activities, networking activities, see clients and even interact with clients. I want to give you some kind of alternatives that you can focus on for now, because I do think that action is a healthy way of keeping ourselves out of the doldrums, and it's otherwise easy to get really, really locked down into it. So anyway, back to my friend's garden path. She and her boyfriend, between the two of them, can you believe it, have clocked up, or at the time that she posted this picture on Facebook, had clocked up 263 kilometers on this garden path. I mean, it is never, ever going to go away. And I want to ask you, what would 263 days worth of consistent content marketing do for your business? What impact do you think that would have on raising your profile? Now, these two have stuck to their running because they both love fitness, they both love running. So the one hurdle that we have to get over is to get you to love creating content and putting it out there. And I think that the example that I'm using today is a really, really great example of having taken something otherwise quite ordinary that I happen to see, on my Facebook timeline, and using it as my inspiration for today's post. So back to my question, what do you think 263 days of putting content out there consistently on all of your social media, all of your chosen social media platforms, what do you think that would do for your visibility? And what kind of an impact do you think that that might have post-COVID when we come fully out of lockdown? I was watching a video the other day by Mari Forleo. She's a very, very well-known business coach and mentor in the United States, and she's been featured on the Oprah show and all sorts of things. And at the time that she recorded this video, she was giving some figures of the amount of content that she had put out over the years. Now, I do want to emphasize that her business, she started it as a side gig and she built it up until she could leave her full-time job and sustain herself through her business coaching, consultancy, whatever you want to call it. But she has put out more than 80,000 emails, different individual emails, not 80,000 emails going to a mailing list of 80,000 people. She has created more than 400 video scripts because she founded her business on using YouTube as her primary marketing channel. And so she does regular videos, she interviews other people, and so on. And she has written at the time, she had written in excess of 800 articles, blog articles, but 800 individual pieces of content. And there were some other figures, but it was just quite staggering. And I know that she is a lot further down the line than a lot of us today, but it shows just how much content we can kind of cumulatively create as we go over the years. I also want to share that I'm starting to get to a point where I'm finding that I can go back to some of my really early content, and I'm talking about, I've got a website and blog that I started running in about 2010 or 2011. And I'm actually starting to go back to that original content and lift some of it and repurpose it to, I'm updating it and repurposing it to use it today. So we know so much more than what we knew 9 or 10 years ago. And there's quite a lot in certain cases that I can actually add to that content, but it makes it, Google actually perceives it to be wonderful, fresh content. So don't leave your old content. Don't just kind of create it and dump it. Make a habit of going back maybe every 3 or 4 years to content that you've created back in the past, and looking at how you can integrate it into what you're doing today and reuse it and repurpose it. The second lesson from the garden path is that the constant traffic and going round and round and round the garden path, it kills the weeds. And it kills the opportunity for the grass to actually edge back on and start growing again. And how does this translate into a marketing environment? Well, your sheer consistency of putting out content and the sheer volume of your content starts to kill your competition. It actually helps you really stand out from the competition, but it also helps search engines like Google direct people in your direction when they are looking for a coach who does what you do. So don't ever let go of the principle of creating a volume of content, and don't get discouraged by the fact that your content isn't being responded to. People may be looking at it. I know as I scroll through my various social media feeds that I will look at stuff that other people have put out, and I don't stop and make a comment or like and so every single thing, and maybe I should, because it might encourage people to do what I'm trying to encourage people to do, which is to put content out consistently. The third point that I wanted to, or the third lesson that I took from the garden path, was that the fact that they kept to the same garden path, they actually wore their own niche into their garden. So you all know that I'm nuts about niche. I talk about niche all the time, but that absolute consistency of their running around on the same spot, and by the same token, the consistency of you putting a message out about what you do and what you are great at, just serves to reinforce your niche and your marketing message. So that's all I've got for you today. That's 3 lessons from the garden path. Let me recap quickly. The first one was about the fact that my friends have run around their garden, done 263 kilometers worth of running around their same garden. I mean, I'm flabbergasted. And I asked you what you think, what impact you think 263 days worth of content, consistent content, would have on your visibility. My second point was the fact that them continually going around the same path killed off the opportunity for plants to actually start regrowing on that path. And if we translate that into a marketing sense, by being consistent with your messaging, by building up this huge volume of work, it means that you will eventually stand out head and shoulders above your competition. You kill off your competition, they fall by the wayside. And the third point was that by continually following the same path, they wore a very clear and quite deep path into their garden. And it's again about reinforcing the same message again and again and again, sending out that consistent message about your niche. Let me just quickly see, there have been quite a few comments. So it's been absolutely fabulous to have Claire, Belinda and Michelle on, and I can see there's a 4th person on, but you haven't commented, so I don't know who you are. Claire, you've said, and you're very consistent about putting your content out. I don't know where you get the time to do it, but you are really fabulous. And Claire says, I often get private messages about my content rather than comments or likes online, and that you think that sometimes people are shy to like or comment about mental health or coaching related content, and that could very well be the case. And I know that you get a lot of business from your content, and you're also a big fan of Twitter because you have picked up clients from participating in activities on Twitter. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Don't forget that I will be posting a link to the infographic on how you can take one big piece of content and repurpose and reuse it very cleverly across your different platforms for 25 days, because I'm all about working as smart as possible. So just give me a few minutes to post that link. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you this time next week. Take care. Stay safe. Bye.